Thank you so much for agreeing to this video and welcome to our channel.
Thank you for having me.
So before we start, you're just going to tell us something very brief about yourself. And you know what we're talking about today? We're talking about maternity pay and benefits. So just give us a little history of what to expect.
Okay. Well, I would say my name is Vivian, obviously. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for listening to me. So I'll just give a little background about myself. So when I came to the UK...
Before you start, let me just tell you guys that she has a YouTube channel. I'm going to leave the link. But anyway, you guys should know her because she's very popular on YouTube.
Very popular.
You're very popular on YouTube.
Now on the video. Okay, anyway, thank you for that.
So
anyway,
I'm going to leave the link to her channel up and down there. So just go subscribe, click notification bell if you've not, and then let's continue with our video. Okay.
All right. So when I came to the UK, I found I was pregnant. Like literally, I was expecting my menses, and then I missed my menses, and it was like the whole world collapsed on my head. I felt, I feel I didn't know what to do. I'm just new here. I'm still finding my. I've been 3 weeks. I was still doing induction. And there was no information available to me. I didn't know anything. I was scared. That's the word. So so I know what it feels like to find out you're pregnant, or you've gotten here, or you're pregnant at home, and then and it really affected me because when you don't know your fate, you don't know if they're going to send you back home. But luckily, I didn't tell anybody I was pregnant till my pregnancy began to show. That's how bad it was. I know in the UK here, you must be aware of the everybody's always saying, "Hey, you're pregnant," blah, 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 blah. And then you're not doing this, blah, blah, blah. So I couldn't say anything. So most people were now finding that I was pregnant because I was already beginning to show, So you can imagine maybe like I'm already like 6 or almost gone. And then people are like making talking you can gossip here. And then so who now had mine come and ask, "Who's pregnant?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'll just keep quiet because I am here thinking my job's all finished. So let's put this pregnancy until we're almost there. They cannot make a choice. And then with my OSCE, nobody has even heard this. I didn't pass my OSCE the first time. So I was pregnant, did my OSCE. The fear of the unknown, if I didn't pass my OSCE, the fear of what would happen if my OSCE goes wrong. I was so stressed, as a matter of fact, in that pregnancy. And I imagine it being very food, and I was always asking Oxford groups, would they take away CPR for me? Because if you don't press well, they will fail you.
Exactly.
So I was messages. I didn't know. There was no support in that area. So one day my manager called me and said, "Vivian, let's have a chat. You know how they do, let's have a chat here." And then she called me and said, "Are you pregnant?" And then I said, "I don't boss now. You cannot hide pregnancy again." I said, "Yes."
But were you trying to hide it, or it was just the culture of you're not used to sharing the pregnancy?
I didn't know what to expect. I was scared. I didn't have information. I was scared for my job. My family was here. What would happen if they say they can't take me with my pregnancy? I hadn't passed my OSCE then. So, when we came in, we did induction program. It was more longer than most people do 3 months here. No, in our hospital you have a proper month of induction. We'll be going for training in the OSCE like more than 3 months. So it was like about 5-6 months down the line I had to write my OSCE. So I had like 3 months to write OSCE when I was about 7. I'm sure I wrote my exam. I passed in May. I delivered in June or July. So I was like 6-7 months. That's how bad it was. So I was so scared. I was so scared of many things happening that I didn't know. Lack of information is bad. I'm telling you. If I had known the kind of king I was when I was pregnant in this UK, maybe things would have turned out different for me. But that's been said because I suffered. I was stressed in that pregnancy. I couldn't say anything. I developed varicose veins. You know how you stand in this country, especially in the NHS. Mm-hmm. You cannot sit down. If I had had my risk assessments, that wouldn't have happened. So I was suffering and still working because I couldn't speak out about my pregnancy. So when I was already far gone, my manager called me and then we had this chat. And she was like, "Okay, this, that's all right." She then did my risk assessment the next week. when I was already far gone. Went to tell HR. HR didn't even call me for a meeting because they were all waiting for my OSCE. So you see that nobody was even trying to follow protocol for me.
They were like, you're still one leg in. How come you got pregnant?
No need to do anything for her. So it was a lot of stress for me. But to God be the glory, I passed OSCE. And then my manager they now told me what I'm entitled to, that I couldn't get the normal NHS pay.
You were working in the NHS, not a nursing home?
No, not in the nursing home. So they told me what I was entitled to. I should go to government.org. After I filled the HR form, they came back to me and said I couldn't get this pay, but I should apply to maternity allowance. That's when I now went to do my own research, and
I've heard of that maternity allowance. I used to think that you can get both the maternity allowance and the maternity pay at the same time.
No, you get one or the other. So if you're not working, or you can get it on behalf of for instance, if your husband or wife was working and maybe they're a man and then you get pregnant, you can get money off your husband's job through maternity allowance. That's the way it works. So, or if you are working and even if your employer does not pay, because it's not all employers are paid maternity money, government will pay you maternity allowance. Mostly because some people's wages are not very much, or they are working part-time or something. So whatever the case may be, they have the way they calculate it. Or maybe you started the job too early, between 6 weeks. They'll tell you you're not entitled to normal maternity pay. Then you go for government payment. So as far as you've been paying your national insurance, you're entitled to maternity pay. So that's what I had. And then it was about, if I remember clearly, 650, I think top most 700 I got. That was what I had for the whole one. It was not funny. But funny was,
I'm trying to imagine what 700 pounds can do now.
It's just rent. After rent, nothing again. There is nothing that goes out of that money. I think what I did was when I realized I wasn't going to get money, I was then picking up bank shifts before I left. Here you have 2 weeks in which you must go on maternity leave. So I began to pick up bank shifts more often. So I think that also helped the money they paid me in the maternity allowance anyway. So I was working more bank shifts, a few more bank shifts. People would see me my pregnancy, like, Vivian, they need to make it of me. When I came back, I used to think, her pregnancy is going everywhere. It was so funny. It was the time, but we give God glory. We are here now. We are more informed. The second time around, it wasn't like that. My manager this time had a meeting with me, showed me the maternity policy, and I read everything. I'm like, wow, like, you have a lot of benefits being pregnant. So it's not even a question of like, are you pregnant? No, you're pregnant, fine. So where are you keeping me? That what you want to do for me? The next thing you're asking them. You're like a king. Nobody should prevent you from getting a job because you're pregnant. You shouldn't be treated differently. When you're coming back, you should be placed on almost the same kind of job. So that's my story, my dear. The first time was a journey of not being informed, of pain, of just suffering when I shouldn't have, because I was too scared, and not knowing what my fate was. But the second time around, it was okay. I was happy. I was a happier person. I mean, I enjoyed every benefit that came with maternity leave. Like,
that's why we're making this video.
I think everybody should be informed. I still get a lot of emails, people still sending me messages asking me, I'm pregnant, what should I do? I just say, don't worry, get to a job and come.
I have some questions. So that requirement that says that you have to work for about 26 weeks before you get the pay, you were not really entitled to that, because you were already pregnant when you came in. Mm-hmm. So how did you not get the pay? When you had talk with your manager, is it that they did not give you maternity pay at all from your place of work? So this 700 and something is the one you got from the government?
Exactly.
Is that?
So when they did their calculations, because I came into the country in November, I gave birth in July, so just 9 months on the dot. So 9 months on the dot, I gave birth. So I wasn't entitled. So if you read that policy, it says you must have been working up until 26 weeks by the time you got pregnant. If you are less than a month, like I was on the job, I wasn't entitled by the time, because it says you must have 15 weeks I'm looking for the
Baby is
ETM, expected time of delivery. I think that time they call it here. You must have been working up to 6 weeks before that 15 weeks, of course. So, but me, I don't give birth 15 weeks later. By the time I give them by your midwife is supposed to give you your form that confirms you are pregnant. So that with that date, they make all the estimations, plus or minus, and they decide, okay, I wasn't qualified for the money, so I can now, and it was a good thing for me to have been told earlier, and not waiting till when I delivered the baby. And this was happening close to when I was writing my OSCE now. So all the pressure was there, so I was handling, okay, now I need to get this my pin quickly and make band 5 money before I.
And the money is not even good though, band 5 salary. No.
Because I was on a band 4 during this period. So I need to make this band 5 money, at least work a few bands with the band 5 now, save up to now manage myself, and which is what I did. Because when I now had that information that I wasn't able to get the pay, they gave me the website to go on. I went there, read about maternity allowance, filled the form, submitted it to them online. I think it was online, yes. I called the number, the maternity line phone, gave them all my information. I think about 2 weeks or whatever, they confirmed that yes, I'm entitled to maternity allowance. And I told them when I'm starting my maternity leave, because it's already set in stone 2 weeks before. So I was not taking any time earlier, because I need to hustle. So I stayed at work until 2 weeks when I was going to deliver, or my expected date of delivery, and my children don't come late. So I knew that 2 weeks is just 2 weeks. That's what it's going to be. So I told them my dates. They confirmed I was going to get paid, and they told me how much I'm going to be paid. So what I then did was, now when I passed my OSCE, was to do a little more bank shifts here and there, and the whole intention was to
pay. You're not stressed up doing all those bank shifts just to get the money.
I think when you know what your situation is, that would be a position of stress. And for me, the position of stress
even me that is talking. Even me that is talking. I did agency shifts almost to the dying minute.
So it's when my own definition of stress is not having money, because headache of thinking of how things happen. But doing those shifts helped me have a backup plan of up to 3, 4, 5 months, at 6 months, and then I think, okay, with hobby there supporting, because he was also writing exams too, we should be fine. So I was calculating myself. It didn't matter what anybody felt. I knew what I needed to do, and it got to be done. And I did it. And when my 2 weeks was up, when NHS will stop me from doing, because I wasn't even doing agency shifts as at then, I was only doing bank.
I was going to ask, why did you not start agency shifts?
So
agency shift is good money, sweet money.
The problem with that was that I wasn't confident. If you backtrack a little bit, you remember I was telling you I was so stressed already at work. I was stressed with my OSCE. Because I wrote my OSCE very late. What will happen with me? I wasn't there. So I was only doing my bank shifts to make money, and then trying to find out places I could go and do jobs, So immediately I finished my, when I stopped working with the 2 weeks, my next plan was immediately I resumed this agency. I was applying while I was on mat leave. So when I was on mat leave, because some of them don't wanted to be off work for a very long time. So I used the opportunity of being at work now, applied within those months, got those jobs, and then when I resumed, and I started my job through. So then I wasn't doing agency, I was doing strictly bank, so it was a lot of stress, and I felt like I was heavy. Oh my God, my pregnancies are usually in front of me everywhere. so I didn't feel comfortable enough to want to go out. I said, let me just do the places that at least I know people can help you. They'll say she's pregnant, leave her, don't give her too much work, let her be. So all those perks were the things I was enjoying in the NHS. Nobody's going to do that for you when you go to any agency shifts. You do what you came to do. So I took that into consideration and okay, just do what you need to do. And when it was time, I started. So yeah.
How many hours were you working in? Your normal job, how many hours were you working? And then when you add the bank shift to it, how long was it, and how many days were you getting off?
The hustle is real.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so
if people are coming with pregnancy and they are hoping that, okay,
this
because
is not
Vivian was
the
able to
thing.
skate through, I can skate through too. So let
Okay,
them know that it's not really easy. If you
yeah.
are doing your normal hours already and then you're adding bank shift on top and
It's
you are
not
pregnant, so please, let us know.
okay, actually, and one, I would say if you know you have a high risk pregnancy, there is no point trying to go and overdo. Know your
Yeah.
limits. Know how precious a pregnancy is. Every pregnancy is precious, but you know what I'm talking about. So
Yes.
I was on 37.5 hours. So that boils down to 3 days a week
Normal
and
full
4 times a
full-time
week
job.
every other. So I was like that, and I was doing mostly. Well, then I didn't know anything. Now I was not even doing night shifts. Oh God, I don't suffer for this country. I was doing day shifts even with the pregnancy, and my legs were just on fire. People looking at you like, oh God, I didn't even do risk assessment. Like I was telling you, they did. That's a story for another day, but it's fine. So I was on day shifts, morning to night. Then when I did bank, another thing is that lack of information is very bad. I keep saying. I wasn't even maximizing my request for shifts, which I didn't even know anything about until later on. Like my first year in this UK is just rubbish.
But if you are requested for shift, will they give you any pay differential since it's not bank shift?
No, the difference is that on the NHS, Saturday and Sundays pay,
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I didn't know. Did you know how I realized that my Saturday and Sunday pays me more? Almost like 7 months into the job, because they were putting me on day shift as a new person. So my manager was just keeping me on day shifts, and then one time like that, she just gave me one Sunday weekend job. I think my salary increased by 200. Like, hey, I'm like, Jesus, when I feel like jumping off. I'm like, what happened? It made me to go and look at my pay slip, and that's where I realized that Saturday and Sunday actually makes you earn more. And then the month after, I realized I could actually request for these Saturday and Sunday shifts. And I'm like, I've been just here slaving away for these people. And people were picking up Saturday and Sunday shifts. Anyway, long story short, I was working mostly days. And when I requested or when I did bank shifts, even to put me on the bank shift, my manager was not even happy because she said I just left the job. That's another thing you have to factor. So, but I'm happy that most people who come now do their OSCEs more quickly. Unlike me, who started my OSCE later. Okay, so most people do their OSCE within 3 months, and that means you have to like 6 months to prove yourself to your manager and get put on the bank. So my manager was like, she's not yet happy. I'm like, okay, just put me as HCA. Put me as HCA, make her do HCA, and then get this money I need. So after I ate the whole lot, she put me on the bank, and then I would do because I used to do 2 long days and off, and then long day, and I go and do a night. I do a night, and then sometimes you can have like 4 days off, when it accumulates. So all those 4 days, I'll do like 2 or 3 days night shifts. So when I knew about my night shifts, I was maximizing it because night shift also pays you more than day shifts. So I was maximizing my Friday, Saturday nights. So if I do Friday, Saturday, I do nights, or I do on those weekdays that you have 3 or 4 days off. So I do Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, 3 nights together, and then resume on Tuesday to my normal shifts. So it was quite flexible because in the world, it wasn't easy, but when I knew what I was doing, I was maximizing. I mean, then I knew I was. I can't remember my pay slip now, but I knew I was seeing a good 2,500, thereabouts. So it wasn't bad, but it was
a lot.
Yeah, it was stressful, but because I knew what I was targeting. It's just going to be a matter of
that's true.
Sleep depth.
When you have a goal, it makes every other thing easier for you.
Exactly. So yeah, there was a goal in mind, and I got it before I left.
Okay. So after you went on maternity leave, how long did you stay before coming back?
Oh God, can I remember now? I think I stayed up to 9 months. Because, like I said,
you tired of staying at home?
I was tired, my sister. I felt like it was a waste of time. At a point in time, I wanted to go back to work, but then I knew the dynamics at home, childcare issues, so I knew that going back to work is not a wise decision. Hobby situations at home and sorting things out, it wasn't in the best interest. I mean, even if I go back to work, how much will I earn more? with the stress of trying to get people to care for the children. So I just maximized it.
If I have my way now, if I have my way now, I will go back to work immediately. I miss going to work.
At the point in time, I felt like that. I felt useless. Let me use that word. Like, what am I doing at home every day? That's when I started my YouTube channel, actually. I started my YouTube channel during my mat leave. And then I was thinking of going back to school, but the logistics of going back to school to do a course was not very feasible for me. So I didn't do it. But then I felt like I could have done it. When I look back now, I'm asking myself, why didn't I do it actually? So I really get tired.
It's going to be online. If you had done it, then it would be
online. It would be online. So I'm like, why didn't I do it in the first place? But that's all gone. But I feel it's about mindset, and because I just finished a course before I came to the UK. I just finished my master's and came to the UK. So I didn't feel like I was lacking anything. I know I wanted to do my PhD, but pregnancy, I'm like, with all these stress I've gone through, everything should just rest first. Stay in the back burner. Let me do. So yeah, that's it. I didn't feel like I needed to, but we thank God we are here. We are still here. We thank God.
Okay, let's see. What about the keeping in touch shifts? Those shifts that you have to work 10 days and then they'll pay you and still pay you your maternity pay.
No, you don't. Yes. So keeping in touch is basically 10 days where you can work and it's not counted as you coming back to work. But after your 10th day, because I remember even the lady on the phone told me, go back to work on it. I'm going to tell you a story. I mean, even this is supposed to be a video of story time of my video, but it's fine. So let's me on the 11th day, I should make sure I let them know. Even though it becomes illegal to take maternity pay when you have exceeded 11 days or 10 days. So my plan was 9 months I stay at home. On the 10th month, I'll go and do 2 keeping in touch or 3 keeping in touch days. I didn't even know how much it was going to be, but I calculated normal daily pay. So that three pay shifts, I said, okay, will be my pay for that month. Anyway, I was only getting £700 anyway. It didn't make any difference. So if I can get the money for 3 keeping in touch on the 10th month, on the 11th month, on that 3 days, and then on the 12th month, and that 3 days. That's my calculation to make me get some funds throughout the maternity leave of 1 year. So me being a sharp girl, I saw bank shifts. I saw bank shifts, hot plus bonus, which my hospital does, and it makes the money go like triple. I'm like, man, I must do this with my 3 days. I went back to the hospital, called them. My name was on the bank anyway, so they put me quickly. I had 3 keeping in touch days that were hot and bonus. This is the story I'm telling you. Then I went to that job. So my manager saw that I come to work for 3 days, and she knew how much that money was. That's like almost like, I think I was like £900 or something, 950. Then she called me the next day and said, Vivian, so you're coming back to work now. Hey, I just want to play on my intelligence. I think I was a move at this time. Even though I don't say I already now. I knew everything I needed to do. So she told me, I said, I'm sorry. When she told me, I kept quiet. Then I called her. I sent her an email. I said, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm still in my keeping in touch days. I'm not due to come back. And suddenly, that's how she did an HR meeting, trying to convince me to come back to work. I know when you have this kind of meetings, it's a serious thing that goes on your file. So I went to the HR meeting, dressed gorgeously, sat down, manager sitting down, HR sitting down. They talk everything they want to talk for their mother that day. How I should now come back to work, blah, blah, blah. I went home, went back to it to ensure I know what I was talking about. And I gave them an email, repeating everything they said and reiterating the facts that I should not come back to work. That I knew people didn't pay me. And the maternity allowance people told me 10 days. So it doesn't matter which work I do. I don't care what people are talking about. I understand the NHS doesn't want you to, get more because you should work normal work. But I'm like, sorry, I wrote a big email like that. And to them, I'm sorry, I'm not going to return back to work. It's just 3 days. I still have 7 days more to work. The lady replied me and said, okay, I'm going to look into this and get back to you. I'm sure she had no clue about it. I'm sure she did her research And by the time she came back to me, she said, Vivian, so we have had a discussion with your manager, and on this occasion, we're going to let it pass. Let's work pass. You know my rights. So we're going to let it pass. However, if you want to do any keeping in touch, consult with your manager and they will book keep in touch. So that's how I enjoyed £950 so on my 10th month. And then on the 11th month, I called my manager and then she put her normal shifts for me, which was less already, as you know. And then on the 12th month, I did another 3 months, and that was the end of my maternity leave. So the thing I would have done differently, which I now tell people to do, is register with an agency when you are still pregnant, because that's the law. If you're working with an agency before you went on maternity leave, you can actually still continue working with them as a different job, okay? And decide to go on mat leave anytime with them. So you can decide to go on mat leave even after you give birth. It's your choice. And then it's counted as a different job. So you can continue keep working with them. And then when you want to go back to work, instead of doing your kids days with your employer, you can pick those shifts with your agency as kids days.
Really?
Yes. Because
I had no idea.
Yes. So it's a second job for you. So it's treated as a separate employment. Okay. So you can actually get maternity leave from 2 jobs. So if
I'm getting maternity leave from my agency. I was surprised when they started paying me maternity bonus.
So you can actually do keeping in touch here and do keeping in touch here. So that's how you can maximize your maternity pay during your return to work period. Okay. So that's what I would have done differently. Otherwise, everything I did was fine. So you treat your second job as a normal employment job and do your keeping in touch with them. So you can choose to do it here or there, and you choose to do it in both places.
And do you know that I was actually, before I went on maternity leave, I was asking somebody at my place of work that, can I do my keeping in touch with agency? And they said no. That it has to be with my main job.
It's a different job.
They are trying to use sense on me.
That is not about information. You can choose not to do keeping in touch in your place of work because you're not paid well. It's your choice. Okay, if you choose to go back because you want to get in touch and get back, fine. But if you have a second employment, your maternity leave applies to the second job. But you must have been working with them before you went on maternity leave. And in the same period of time you were working in your place of work, that's where you'll be entitled to the full maternity entitlements in your second job. But if, for instance, you were not working, I think it's up to 12 weeks before you went to deliver, then you will not get to do that. But if you have been working 12 weeks before you deliver with your place of work and have worked up to that 26 weeks, it's the same thing. The same law applies on both ends. So you cannot maximize your keeping in touch by doing agency shifts instead of doing your other job. But care homes pay well, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, care homes pay okay. My agency is paying me maternity leave too every week now. So I'm going to call them and tell them I want to do keeping in touch with them.
Everything that pertains to returning to work, comes to play in that job.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think we've covered a lot of things here today. So guys, make sure you watch this video, rewatch it again so you will not miss out on any points. And don't forget to check out Vivian's channel.
Thank you for having me. Yeah. And I wish you a lovely maternity leave. Enjoy your leave. Enjoy your time with this. Find something, and if it's even filming videos up until when you resume, fine.
Can I even do the videos? My baby will not stop crying. Can I do the videos? Just imagine after I finish dressing up, making up, and then I'll set my camera and say, "Hey guys," and then the next thing is wah.
I think you should get to a point where she would have gotten used to everything, and then you get to a thing, and you'll be able to find the right time to do your filming. That's what I did. Either I just find the right time. It's about timing. There must be a time where she's calmer, where you can do things.
I can't think of any time that she's calm.
3 months anyway. Children are always like that. But then we settle. When she settles, you know what I'm talking about, and then you'll be able to fit yourself between those times.
Let her settle very fast, because right now she's not giving me any breathing space at all. We can do this video because she's with hubby upstairs. Oh, thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
You take care and thank you for having me. Bye.
Okay, bye.